everyone, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Perry Municipal Authority. It is December 3rd, 2018. Roll call, please.
Kildare.
Here.
Gilbert. Franklin.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Ahern. Seabolt. Here. Morrow. Streller.
Here.
Johnson.
Here. I do declare a quorum. Councilman Streller, would you offer?
You bet. Will y'all pray with me, please? Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come before you freely and praise you and worship you and give you thanks and ask you to bless this meeting for it will glorify you. Dear Heavenly Father, there's so many decisions that need to be made in this town. It's a town that we know that you love because you show us all the time that you're present. We ask the things that go through this meeting that will glorify you. We pray this in your Son's name. Amen.
Thank you. First item is the consent agenda. Is to receive and approve the minutes of the regular PMA meeting of November 19, 2018.
Motion approved. Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Kildare.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Streller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Comments from those assembled concerning the PMA this evening? Any comments? Comments? Seeing none. Item 5, proclamations, commendation, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Any reports that we need to make? Thank you. Item 6, consider approval of amendment number 4 between the City of Perry and CEC Corporation for engineering services related to the FY 2019 FAA funded project at the Perry Municipal Airport. It is to rehabilitate the fuel system and design only for the improvement of this airport grounds. You see the background. I hope you read it. Unless you want me to read it to you for a nightly bedtime story. Have any comments or questions? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion now? Roll call?
Kildare.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Streller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Let's not get lazy, people. We'll get this thing on quick. All right. Item 7, transfer $100,000 from the Electric Capital Fund to the City of Perry Capital Improvement of Electric Capital Budget for purchase of a 2012 Tyrex electric bucket truck, contingent upon the purchase and waiver of the competitive bidding by the city manager certification. We have that certification. What we need from you is a recommendation for the motion for contingent on that waiver of competitive bidding that we will vote on in our council meeting. So I need a motion.
So this is a motion to transfer the money.
Correct.
Okay. I have a couple questions. Was this a budgeted item?
At the end, it was not. We talked about it at the beginning, talked about it at the strategic plan, but it was not. And Brian is with us tonight to answer any other questions that you may have about the actual truck itself.
Well, I was more concerned about it being a budgeted item or not being a budgeted item.
It was not budgeted at the end, no, sir. We did put it in at the beginning, but it didn't make it to the end.
And it's one of the items that's been on the list for, a couple of years. But, it's been on the list at about 185,000. Those are preliminary estimates on what the budget amount of what Brian was thinking for, a new truck and everything else. I'm not gonna speak for you unless, if I misspeak.
Anywhere between 100 and
Does this have a motor?
But,
It does.
It's got a
whenever we
small
started.
bucket, not a big bucket.
When we started through the budget process, and we probably stripped out all the capital items and we went back through and just added back until we got to effectively a zero budget. You guys kind of remember that process. Whenever we did that, this item was one of the many items that was left out of that list.
And this is gonna replace what in your fleet?
Yes, replace 19 that we use real regular.
So are you gonna keep that in your fleet or
No,
get rid of
it
it?
needs to go. Can't find parts for the unit itself is not bad, you can find parts, but the truck is, I mean, you can't find parts for it any longer.
Well, I think that, that we need the truck. I think Brian deserves the truck. My concern is the last meeting that we had, we talked about transferring money out of the capital fund, the electric capital fund for, the sewer projects, I believe, and Russ made a statement that we would be down to $200,000. So you transfer another 100,000 out. It doesn't take math to know that you're down to $100,000 now. And it's funny that we transfer all this money out for stuff, but now we have a project that fits that. And it bothers me that we're depleting our fund even more.
We will be closing the two Seth Wadley properties, both east and west, and that's gonna put hundreds of thousands of dollars,
About three.
300,000, to pay back the
Capital fund.
capital fund. Well, that's 3 from here, and then 2, where'd we end up? 245? 250, you know, over on the other side. And I would tell you that, because Earl and I were here when we created that, I mean, this is the very purpose for that, and I think you know that, you know, I think
Yeah.
you know that, you know, we go back to what it was created. This is the very purpose was created, and when you have a piece of equipment that's 28 years old, you know, and is that not the linchpin piece of equipment to do all the electric work isn't that the piece of equipment?
That's our biggest truck.
Yeah, that's your biggest
Allows us
truck.
to get where none of the rest of them.
But do you have a plan to replenish the fund?
Yeah, well,
That's
you have a
what's
plan,
on sale.
it's gonna close. I called their attorney today, about the title opinion. In fact, they've called me and said, when are we gonna close? And I said, well, I need to get a hold of the attorney, and I just called him today. He may be out, I didn't have a chance to talk to him, but that fund is to be replenished, so. I don't know, Earl, do you have?
Just a quick comment, the 1990 truck is bought under the same terms,
It was a demo, right? It was a demo.
And yes, the monies are there, Bill.
Do you remember that?
Do we have a motion? Get the motion as up.
And I see,
I make a motion.
Newer used it about 5 years ago, let alone what,
I'll
second.
30 years ago was.
Bill second. Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
yes,
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Thank you. Item 8, new business. Any new business need to be brought before the PMA? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. I do call to order the regular meeting of City Council, City of Perry. Roll call, Dixie. And again, it is December 3rd, 2018.
Coldiron.
Here.
Gilbert.
Here.
Franklin. Hicks.
I was a little early.
Ahern.
Twice.
Okay.
Excuse me, let me change chairs here.
You're a Democrat, right?
I have no idea.
Hicks. You said yes on the- Ahern. Seabolt. Here. Morrell. Stroller.
Here.
Johnson.
Here. Thank you. I do declare a quorum. First item is the consent agenda for the council meeting this evening. There's 2 items on it, you see. And I need those.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Thank you. Roll call, Dixie.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 4, comments from those assembled. Comments concerning the council meeting agenda. Thank you. We'll move on to item 5, proclamations, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. I want to call the council's attention to this little publication that's stuck in your packet. It's interesting reading if you haven't read it. And then the other items adjoining it give you some factual information on households in Oklahoma and insurance. And then in here is your envoy and a calendar. So you take those with you and check them out. Next, anyone else have any reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to city manager's report. Remarks, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and I were at Rotary Club today and saw another presentation by the robotics team. I'm always impressed by that group of young folks. And it's not just the robotics team, but the other groups that we have in our school system. Continue to be very impressed by that. We have a good future going on.
Oh, man. Thank goodness.
Our future's in good hands, gentlemen.
At least in Noble County.
At least in Mayor, City Planner David Payne, and Street Superintendent Sam Harmon and I visited with a company in Oklahoma City called Lithified Technologies about a brand new base system that you put on roads, and we think that it's really going to save us some money as we go along. We're willing to give them some opportunities to test it out a little bit better, and we certainly have some of those. So we're looking forward to that. We'll see as it goes along, but we were impressed, and the mayor especially was impressed with his engineering brain and all that. So they had I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to embarrass him. They had this cylinder of this material and how hard it was. And so there's a presentation going along, and the mayor pulls out his knife and starts scraping some of the top off it. The room went silent after that. He didn't know what he was going to do. But anyway, we were impressed, and we think this is going to be good for the city. So, other than that, that's it. He just took out his knife, started scraping a little off of it. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone have any comments or questions? I didn't hurt it.
We're running a bill for that, are we?
I left their little label on there. I didn't scrape it. We'll now have our financial officer's report. Sir.
Well, I know it is a meeting late, and I do apologize for last meeting. Mayor was going to be here, and then Elvie got sick, and so you guys ended up with nobody here. I was already planning on being out of town, so thank you for at least waiting until this month to see. If it would have been something major, of course, I would have brought up last meeting and called in or something to flag you guys.
We called him at the last meeting, didn't we?
You did call me at the last meeting, yes. That's all right. Don't worry about it, Bill. Hey, always here for you anytime you need me. You know, matter of fact, I was sitting there.
I think
said,
you
"Are you going
YouTubed
to
this,
dinner?"
didn't you? You was wanting us to call you.
I was watching on YouTube. Hey, it's kind of nice. I mean, you know, I'm sure Mike and Brian and Crystal are all watching, so let's all say hello to them, you know, and then we'll go on. You know, you don't miss anything whenever you watch on YouTube. You can stay up to see what everything happens. So it is nice. Guys, if I had a long report for you, I'd give it. I really don't. A couple of maybe exciting things or things to note. Hotel motel tax back over 18,000 again. You know, that's another good number. I mean, we always track that 18,000 is kind of our baseline. Whenever we exceed that number, I'm always happy. And that means that things are moving in the right direction. It means activity's going on in our community. We also see that a little bit in our sales tax that was deposited, not that's included in this number, but the number that was deposited in November, which you will be seeing on financials next week. You know, sales tax was almost $10,000 higher than it was last year, same month. Mind you, these collections go back 2 months, so this was September collections that were deposited in our account in November. But we did have about $10,000 more. So, meaning, again, some activity going on in the community. We've seen that trend kind of month in and month out. You know, We are up for the year, which is nice. You know, we're up about 3.5% over last year, which we budgeted, you know, a 10% decrease. So, you know, we're running in the positive territory. But there again, guys, it's sales tax. You know, I mean, I can't predict it even if I had to. You know, the closer I try to predict it, the worse it seems to be. You know, if I was a weatherman, it would be fine because I only have to be right about 10% of the time, and everybody would still think I was a hero. Unfortunately, we're dealing with dollars, and that doesn't quite play out. So, as always, we'll stay conservative on those revenue projections. Expense-wise, the majority of the expenses you'll see within the departments, pretty much everybody's within their budget. As bad as it is for me to even say, Brian is even within his budget, which I know is hard sometimes to say, but yes. So actually, both Brians are within their budget. Since they're both sitting here tonight, I'll go ahead and address both of them are within their budget. So that's a step up for both of them. Actually,
That's a step up.
one of them we always know is going to be in his budget. The other one, sometimes questionable where we are. On the electric side, seasonality is really kind of what we would expect. You know, guys, we've now hit the fall off. Our electric and our water sales are going to flatten. You know, we go through this period from November really until March where we run pretty flat. You know, we won't see a whole lot of water sales. Overall, we kind of talked about our water sales were down for the year so far. Not enough that it's going to affect us in gross profit that much. I mean, we're talking maybe $8,000 to $10,000 difference, but we were down a little bit over what we expected. But also, we had wet. You know, I mean, we were wet from the middle of the summer on, you know, and that's nice. I don't think anybody's going to complain about it. The dollar differences within our budget are not something that I'm worried about for that. So looking at it from a quarterly standpoint, you know, we really wanted those water revenues to be a little higher. They're not, but it'll be okay. We'll make it through. It's nothing that's going to bankrupt us in the big piece. You know, we have a handful of big items kind of coming up tonight for discussion that are going to hit a lot of these. Everything that we're going to talk about tonight is within our budgets already, you know, or is coming out of capital dollars. So those dollars have already been set aside. So whenever we do those pieces, we're not worried about it. The one item, and Bill's kind of already hit it, is related to the bucket truck. The bucket truck was excluded from our original budget whenever we adopted it to get the balance, but we're talking about funding that now from a reserve fund, funding that from the electric capital fund, which was those dollars set aside. We never budget them into our budget. They are set aside, and this is really the express purpose of what that was when Earl created it many years ago. He probably wanted it more for system rehab than he did for maybe buying equipment, but in the general philosophy, it was created by the electric department. It was created by electric savings whenever they flipped it over, so let's use it for those funds for sure. That's really all I had related to financials. Like I said, if it was anything that was just way out of whack or out of line that I didn't expect, you know, I would have already raised it to your attention. So we're going to keep on chugging on, and we're going to hope that Brian and Brian don't overspend their departments next month. Hey, by the way, we're going to come to an item a little later, and thank you to Russell for saving us potentially some money. So, you know, I mean, not only not spending, but saving some money. But we'll give him his kudos whenever it comes out. So, no, I don't have anything to say about the airport at this point, so sorry.
We'll take that one.
Yeah. We'll move on now.
Hey, if the department heads show up, I gotta at least say something about them, right? We're gonna get everybody involved in this discussion.
Let's see what you missed by next week.
All right, we'll move on to item 8, update on Main Street of Perry. Kayla Schrum, our executive director, CEO, CFO.
So does that mean that I don't have to introduce myself?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure that I came tonight because I know there's been several times I've missed, but and so that I don't read a long letter and report. I sent, I think in the last report, a link and a few things about, I've been in a lot of trainings and conferences over the last few months that have been a lot of detail, especially even about like the new ABLE laws. I can even send you, because I know that you're maybe looking into those. I can send you that presentation, but then more so of why I wanted to come and make sure, like there's a Google link that I had sent, and it goes to all of our Google Docs on our new framework that we have for the whole next year. As everyone knows, Main Street's been under a lot of reconstruction on the inside, and so we have a new sponsorship program that we're implementing, and also a whole new framework. And so the sponsorship is in those little booklets that you have, but then that's all that information is available.
Keep it.
Also in those Google Docs. And in order to implement the new framework, we need the sponsorships for it. So we're going with a new type of way of funding to just better do what we're doing. And then we also have the Christmas parade coming up December 12th. So anyone any city departments that are interested in being in the Christmas parade?
I don't have the money to do
But you did such a great job. You were in budget.
it. Hey, once you win it a couple times, you need to let somebody else do it.
And so we have that coming up, and then we also have our strategic planning session coming up in December 14th. So all those tentative dates that are set in those Google Docs or even in, I think, the back page of those booklets will be confirmed, so that we have a whole year planned out ahead of time. And I'm really excited about that, and that's been something I've really have worked for, wanting to have, so we're not last minute deciding dates. And then besides that, one of the biggest reasons I wanted to talk tonight was because, going back to being at a lot of conferences and trainings, I've been in a lot of towns, a lot of Main Street towns, a lot of downtowns, and I always am ready to come back to Perry. Especially my recent trip to Guyman. It was a long drive for a Main Street training, and I was so ready to be back in Perry. And so I just even personally want to thank you all, our city council, our city leaders, for doing a great job. It's very much appreciated because it seems like we're constantly headed and there's all these better and better and better things that we are doing, and I appreciate your support and everything that y'all are doing, because I've seen some of the insides of other places, and just from that I'm always ready to come home, and then just literally driving through Perry versus a lot of other places here lately. And so
Questions?
Santa Claus gonna lead the parade?
you'll be at the end of the parade.
Oh, end of it, okay. Figure out
At the
what
Santa
that
House.
is. Okay.
I think Exchange Bank hosts him. Oh, one thing I didn't bring notes, so I didn't go on and on. But thank you, because you did remind me. Because then I looked over at Brian Ayer. So we do have a few last things to end this year, because it's the time of giving. We'll be giving out 2 facade grants to the new facade on Hair Naturally, and to Stacey Wilda. And we'll also be doing special lights for the courthouse.
Cool.
That was the last thing. Thank you, Shelley.
How much are the facade grants that you're giving out?
They're between $500 and $1,000. They're matching grants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll move on then to item 9. Consider award of bid on AMI Project 2 UTS as the lowest responsible bidder, documented reasons, in official minutes why lowest bidder wasn't selected. You read the background, it's pretty lengthy and involved, but the recommendation of the AMI bid, the lowest responsible bidder, is on the next page. It shows the attributes that made us decide in favor of this. And I hope you read them. If you don't understand them, please ask a question. Is there any discussion?
What is private spectrum instead of public spectrum then?
It means that no one will access it but those who own it. We have some of our contractors here who bid this project. If you want to question any of them, I'm sure they'd be happy to respond. I haven't seen any guns come out yet, so it feels pretty good.
You also have a sheet I added that gives you a real good summary of where all these dollars are coming from, going to, and where we wind up. And I would suggest we use the left-hand column, because I think it really addresses the city of Perry's needs best. And yes, the Wadley money does go back to electric capital under that scenario. And Bill, I agree, we hate to go out and borrow $1 million, but we need it because with the $1 million, we wind up with $367,000 to guard against bids coming in higher, unknown things, like the Striller line getting added all of a sudden.
We'll call that the Far East line, Bill.
So where's the electrical on this program? It's not in this one, of course, because it's water, but,
Yeah.
are we not going to do both of them at
Sure,
the same time? Okay.
The, look at the attributes, you see that, and two, when it talks about lid drilling, that's for water meters.
That's what, Gordon?
That's for water meters.
Yeah,
And,
This bid is electric and water.
it is electric and
Yeah.
water?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Excuse me, I read it. Still didn't get it. Okay,
I should have come by and visited you.
yeah, you should have.
I didn't understand totally until I could sit down for a long time.
Fold out,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have.
I don't have, okay, so that helps.
If you have questions or concerns. you gotta
It may
come
be
out.
trivial, but I don't even understand. You said the lid drilling is for water. What is a lid drilling?
It's
That's
where
to
you-
install the telecommunication device, the transmitter, to go out and they drill it on the top from the water meter to send the information out.
So it's on the lid?
Yes.
Just a little antenna that'll sit on.
Kind of looks like a hockey puck, I think, you know,
It's
kind of looks like a,
usually a black,
Yeah.
just like around the size of an hockey puck.
right.
But it does sit on top of the lid.
Do we see that being a product that gets damaged a lot?
You know, sometimes they can, but that is the technology. I mean, that's,
Well, I just
and that's the way
wondered.
it is. I mean, they can get run over, they can get smashed, but.
Don't
but that
scum it
is-
with your lawnmower.
Yow.
You gotta get it through that metal, you know.
My meter's like a block away from my house, so it's not my yard, the neighbor running over it.
Do we have a motion? Do we have comments from our attorney about the motion, how he wants it addressed?
How are we gonna fund this project? I mean, are we set with borrowing the money? Is that where we're at?
Okay, we issued a bond issue back in 2015, that will fund.
We'll cover that, right?
Yes,
But then we're gonna,
funds all of, everything related to AMI.
but then I know it's a different project, but then Earl was talking about borrowing money for the So the sewer project, rather than using part of the AMI,
Which was the million.
Well, we will have a little
Yeah.
additional funds left over. We'll have, give or take, $250,000 to $300,000 left over from what we originally planned to spend on AMI. Okay, that $300,000, along with potentially a $1 million borrowing in 2019. We probably will get it done before the end of the year, so start of next year. That $1 million borrowing will fund phase 3 and phase 4 of the water project, of the sewer project. And also will fund the actuators at about $180,000 that we need at the water treatment plant. So, that will use up, will leave us, whenever I net all the numbers out, about $150,000 at the end of the day. That is still available in our 25% restricted capital improvement, blah, blah, blah dollars.
at some point, and I know you're way smarter at this than I am, but we gotta quit borrowing money at some point.
Well, the
Always.
only way, and let's be real honest, the only way we're gonna continue to borrow money is to add additional revenue sources. You know, I mean, this $1 million that we're talking about borrowing is going to be an increase in fees. Because we are a 15%, I had said $6, Earl's run it out, you know, as a 15% on consumption, but however you guys at the end decide to do it. The only way we can go do additional projects right now is to increase our revenue sources. We are capped out in funding debt through operations and through the dollars that we have on hand. So, don't get me wrong, I'm with you 100%, so.
So
to
I
do
just,
it,
I just
though-
want the council to know that when we approve this kind of stuff, then it comes time to fund it, we can't sit back and say, no, we're not raising rates because you guys approved it.
Yeah. That will be, you know, that will be the only way that we get AMI, phase 3 and phase 4, and the $200,000 at the water plant. The only way we're gonna get those done is by using funds that we already borrowed, and we borrowed those intentionally to
Well,
fund.
I remember-
About
I
$1.7 million,
remember that.
You know, that we said we are going to go do AMI, and we said.
I mean, it's
that
right,
went
it's
down.
right here in your report.
Yeah, and so, you know, but that's there. And then the increase in fees, you know, and that's charges to the customer. But at the end of the day, if you go to flush your stool and it doesn't just not only get out of your house, if it doesn't get to the treatment plant, we got a problem, you know, I mean, these are things, guys, and honestly, I'll be real honest with you. As I look across the communities that we work with, we do not have anybody that is as far on the forefront of infrastructure related to their utilities as Perry is. You know, I mean, we have done a great job of trying to address the real money makers that we have. Now, don't get me wrong, we still will have projects in the future, but getting the rest of the sewer completed and getting that part done kind of puts a cap on a 50-year hiatus. I'm not saying anybody did something wrong, but you put the lines in, you do the work, you know, you get it where it needs to be. It runs for 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years. For us, some of this was 60 and 65-year stuff, you know. And at some point, you've got to go back and redo it. You know, I mean, we redo things all the time. At some point, we've got to go redo that. Now, did we do it right? You know, and did we set aside funds along the way? And did we effectively what Roy Rainey used to always talk about? Did we fund our depreciation along the way? No, we never funded our depreciation along the way. I find it really, really interesting. You know, you go to and you look at some other states and you start looking at what they do with their homeowners associations. You know, you get all these people to come together and they build a common pool. You know, other states require that those HOAs fund a depreciation replacement on that pool, so that in 20 years, whenever it comes time, over the years you've contributed in and you've put the money there, and now you have a replacement dollar available, so that whenever somebody else buys into it, 20 years into the life of the HOA, they're at least buying into something that is revitalized and coming in. Municipalities, we never do that. Number one, we don't have a requirement. Number two, we pretty much spend all of our money trying to maintain the public services that we do, especially in a declining sales tax and those kind of things. But number three, the electric capital fund, while it's set there, and while at least the last decade that I've been here, we've tried to preserve the integrity of that so that we do have $900,000 and now it'll be $800,000 available whenever the electric system needs a rebuild, but we didn't set aside a water rebuild fund, and we've never set aside a sewer rebuild fund, and without setting aside those funds, we effectively come to this point in time and we say, well, the only way we're going to be able to get this done is to borrow the money. And that's not how I'd like it to be. None of us would like it that way. But if we want to start funding this at $100,000 a year, we've got to raise rates now, and then we've got to start establishing those reserve funds at $100,000 or $250 or $300, whatever our useful life is of this project, so that whenever we get 20 more years down the road, and you all may or may not still be sitting on here. Hopefully, I'm gone in 20 years, at least. That we at least have these dollars ready for somebody else to take over and move. But until we can get to that point, we're always going to be chasing this rabbit, and we're always going to be a step behind on trying to fund those pieces. And I wish it was better, but there's no easy answer at this point to finish out projects and not increase fees to do it.
These are always the hard ones to sell because nobody can see it.
Oh,
Right.
You can see a street and you see new utility poles and lights, and you can't see a sewer system,
Until it backs up in your tub, then you.
Yeah.
But our improvements in phase 4 are not something we want. There's something that's absolutely necessary. We all know it. I wish the sequence of construction on this whole study would have started there and worked our way back uphill, but it started in town with replacing pipes that were backing up in people's houses. We had some 100-year-old lines. They've been replaced, rehabbed. We're in good shape. We still have some clay line out there that's gonna give us trouble because clay fails at some point. But the plant has got to be able to receive the wastewater, or you know what's gonna break loose. So we've got to fix the plant. We have no choice. And
The next meeting is one to come to, as we told you at the last meeting. I expect all those issues on the agenda at the next meeting.
right.
Next regular meeting, so we need 7 or more, hopefully all of you here.
But this is to either do or not do our AMI project.
I make the motion to award the bid to UTS.
Second.
Thank you. Questions?
As a part of that motion, you also want the reasons we're not giving it to the lowest bidder listed in the minutes, correct?
Pardon me?
Yes.
You want the reasons that we're not giving it to the lowest bidder listed in the minutes.
Yes.
And who's the second?
Me.
And you amend your second to include that?
I amend my second to include that, yes.
Okay.
All right. Ain't it great? Roll call, Dixie.
Calderon.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Thank you. We'll move on to item 10. Consider approval of amendment number 4 between the City of Perry and CEC Corporation for engineering services related to FY 2019 FAA funded project at the Perry Municipal Airport to rehabilitate fuel system, design only for improved airport drainage. You read the background? You know the fuel system. This is to provide 24-hour access and fix the drainage going out of the north end of the airport.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Dixie.
Calderon,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Seabolt, yes, Stroller,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes. Item 11. Continued discussion of the partnership between the City of Perry and the Stillwater Medical Center Authority and initiative to retain hospital and medical services for the community. In the background, I did talk to the Noble County Commissioners. We are meeting again next Monday to discuss this item when they have all members there. So we should know something next week about their.
Did you have any discussion with them?
Yes. I went to a meeting last month and we made a request and a plea for help. I went back this week to remind them, and we set myself up on the agenda again for next week to make a decision about whether there will be a countywide vote for a sales tax or what other form they decide to do it.
So we'll have that answer before the next meeting?
I hope to. As you know, the reason we're asking the county to help is because we have a lower actual percentage of sales tax, a percentage of percent sales tax, and still garner more funds for the hospital than if we did one ourselves as a city. So we're gonna try, I'm trying to discuss with them and get them in favor of a countywide sales tax. They're strapped like everybody else is too, fellas, ladies, they are.
But by going to the county, we can also improve or enlarge our ambulance service, get up to paramedics, which I think is a very vital thing to add to these facilities.
Are they aware of that aspect?
Yeah. The, what I do want to bring up now, and not surprise anybody later, I still think we need to go out for a city sales tax to support the hospital. I don't think the countywide will provide enough funds for everything that needs to be done. That's just putting you on notice. If it happens that it does, great. I committed those guys that we would request this sales tax for the hospital for 5 years, because that's the contract we have with the current management, it's 5 years.
What kind of rate were you talking about?
It's 1/2 of 1%
For which,
For county.
for the county.
I thought you was going, okay, I thought it'd be
I
3/4.
thought we had talked 3/4.
We did talk 3/4, they've only got a half available.
Oh.
That's why I say we may have to go out.
It's gonna take some more number crunching.
You're good at
I
it.
thought they were at 1 1/4. You know,
Well, they got the mill for the ambulance service, 911 service.
yeah, that's the quarter, that's the
Yeah.
quarter, that's the quarter. The thing is that, you know, there's the rule that counties can't pass more than 2, but they have. And I think some of the bond attorneys believe that if the tax isn't for the county, it's just proposed by the county, it doesn't count against the 2. And I'll just have to look at that. But of course, you know, the concept is this something that the county commissioners are willing to do? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is this is something that the county commissioners are willing to support? Because, you know, if they do 1, that's something, but they have to get to 2, you know, to really probably make it pass. Quite frankly, when we put out the 522 district,
Mhm.
you know, they didn't really have their heart in the 3 mil one, probably because they heard back from their constituents that they weren't liking that. But once that failed and we did it again, they absolutely had their heart in the 1 mil, 1/4, and really worked that, the county worked that. Now, to the extent that you know, that the county feels that this isn't their role, then at least to have it on the election that we wanted for the general election. We have kind of till the end of January, to put that up there. So we still have, a couple meetings in January to consider this. So what we plan to do is just keep this on the agenda. Now, we did give you, I thought, a really good article. I don't know that anyone has seen it, so I copied it from the Journal Record, which really talks about the number of hospitals that have closed. Sayre, Eufaula, Muskogee, Drumright, Prague, Sealing, Fairfax, Stigler, Veneta, Atoka. Now we have Pauls Valley.
Fairfax is not closed. I still do.
Excuse me, they filed for bankruptcy. They have filed for bankruptcy. Some of these have closed and some of them have filed for bankruptcy, okay? But which is, almost closed, I mean, they're just kind of hanging. Although I know
We
a
didn't get
guy
that
that's
far.
had a nursing home in
We were right
Racine
there.
for a long time. So, but this is a good article with a lot of good facts. And what they're trying to get, and it's the Oklahoma Policy Institute, it's really a letter soliciting funds. But the Oklahoma Policy Institute is saying that Oklahoma made the wrong decision by not accepting expanded Medicare. And that's what they're trying to get to the governor and to leadership with, to take a look at. So that's really what this goes to. And of course, if that happened, hospitals would stop closing. There are probably other issues. There's state issues that they have to consider, matching dollars and the like that they would have to do. But small town Oklahoma, rural small town Oklahoma right now is on the losing end of this, and I really think it's going to snowball. I think we've been lucky; we haven't seen a lot of it. I think it's going to snowball. On Thursday, we have the same issue is going on right now in Blackwell, and we have a sales tax proposal in Blackwell that we're having a public hearing on Thursday. So, that's the other rural hospital that's out here, and we're doing something. They're not as lucky as us to have Stillwater as the operator, Stillwater having the nut, so they're having to do something a little bit different, but it involves a 1 penny sales tax, a continuation of money from the Blackwell Public Trust, and an expenditure, a giant expenditure, an expenditure that, quite frankly, this town may not have the aptitude, that town may not have the aptitude to bite off, because it really is gonna be a big one. But
What's their sales tax rate right now?
they're up to, this would put it, they're up to 10.25 right now.
And this would go at 11?
It would go to, no, it won't, because 10.25, they already have a penny sales tax. This is an extension of it. They passed a 1 penny 5-year tax, and this will be an extension of that during the duration of the finance.
Blackwell has 5 cents of sales tax.
So I'm talking about the whole Blackwell.
Right, the
state,
county and everything else,
county,
but
the whole thing.
Compared to our 3
Yeah.
25, they have, as a municipal, they have 5.
Yeah, you need to always consider that, because there's other pieces that come from other places. But theirs is gonna be an extension. Just like we extended recently did the 522, that sales tax. We put it on for 5 years and we extended it, the public extended it for 10 years.
Ready to move on? Don't need a motion to. Item 12, consider approval of payment of invoices to MKEC. They come in 3 parts. A, consider approval of payment of invoice amount of $1,073 for construction support of 2018 street improvements, being Grove Avenue, East Boundary, Jackson, 12th and Birch, and the pharmacy outlet. B, consider approval of payment of invoice in the amount of $6,145.50 for engineering and surveying services for the 2018-2019 street improvements, being Park and Park Drive, 8th Street Designs, and 8th Street additional survey effort. Part C, consider approval of payment of invoice in the amount of $2,240 for the survey and future work estimates on the Braxton property, the lodge survey, and 1010 Holly drainage analysis.
Do you want a motion for all three or just one at a time?
Did we do all three right? Once? Or
No, we should do them all separately,
Okay.
there may be different votes.
I made, got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Roll call, Dixie?
Calderon,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item B?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Calderon,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item C?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Calderon,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Thank you. I always ask Bryce that because sometimes I get a different answer.
Sometimes we can.
I know, I'm sorry. Item 13, authorize the mayor to execute an oil and gas lease with Charter Oak Production Company LLC in lots 1, 2, and south half northeast quarter of Section 6, Township 20 North, Range 1 West of the Indian Meridian, Noble County, Oklahoma, for $33,089. Bonus for 162.4 acres and a 3/16 royalty interest pursuant to the bid. This is for our lease.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Calderon,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Agenda item 14, consider consider the purchase of a 2012 Terex bucket truck and waive notice of bidding requirement pursuant to the local competitive bidding ordinance, section 7-114 of the Perry Municipal Code, and pursuant to the city manager's certification as being in the best interest of the city of Perry.
Move approval.
I got a question.
Okay.
I remembered as the night went on here. If I remember right, we used that truck, the 90 model, to lift a pump or something out of
No, different truck,
different truck?
yes.
Okay. Alright. Thought the biggest one was the only one that could get it high enough or something.
One's got a winch on it and one lifts you up,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
separate entities,
Okay. We just discussed that at one meeting before, so I wanted to make sure we still fit that
yeah.
criteria.
This new truck that we're proposing actually has a jib and a winch on it, but it would take the play, you can set a transformer on a pole with it, with the truck, without having the truck you're talking about there and the bucket truck, you can do it with one truck.
Okay.
But it wouldn't lift like what we did.
It was mentioned previously when we
Right.
discussed this truck that it was the one that
When
got
we were-
that pump
When we were
out.
at the sewer plant, or water plant, it's a completely different truck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
a
just-
bigger derrick, it's different, it's not a bucket truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we were still gonna be able to do
It's an old one too, but, you know, we'll work on that in a year or two.
Next year.
We have a motion to second.
it. We had a motion, we didn't have a second yet.
Truck.
Need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Calderon,
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Stroller,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Item 15, consider purchase of self-contained breathing apparatus cylinders. We're gonna table this till next meeting. Because our esteemed interim chief has some more work to do on it. He says he'll get us a better price or something. So we'll let him do that. You got any questions? You can see he's already lowered the price.
So that kudos was premature a while ago.
Very, very premature.
Well, if he's
No,
gonna, if he's
no,
gonna
he-
save us more
He's gonna
dollars.
save us money. He's gonna take this off. And We're gonna set the
We'll
expectation
see.
really, really high,
We'll see.
and we'll just see how good he is,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you know, set a bar and see if he can jump over it.
All right,
Superman.
He's old. He's a jump
Motion
He's
on
gonna,
table.
he's gonna come in with an S
We
on
need a motion
his
to
shirt
table.
next time.
Do we need a motion table? I guess we do.
You don't need one.
All right, thank you. Item 16, consider approval resolution 2018-15, establishing a fair housing policy for the city of Perry, Oklahoma. We have one, but this is a new one. We do this every year for NODA, for grant purposes of CDBG grant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Dixie.
Colburn.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller.
Yep.
Item 17, consider approval of pay application number 5 in the amount of $118,852.25 to Evans and Associates Construction Company Incorporated for work performed on the 2017 improvements of Ivanhoe and 8th Street. See in the background, this is a continue that project.
I live at 8th and Ivanhoe, and I can't place a project of this size. What am I missing?
Pardon?
I live at 8th and Ivanhoe, and I can't place a project of this size in my front door.
May have been down the street.
Could this be Jackson Street?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if it's Jackson.
Eighth Street is on the next year's plan, but they've been doing some engineering on that.
Yeah.
The question that.
But
we
Evans
had-
wouldn't be doing
Final
engineering.
invoice.
Evans does the work.
Yeah. That's actually Jackson.
Well, the change order says Ivanhoe and 8th Street.
Bill, is that drainage deal we had fixed up there by your church?
No, that's
No, that's-
Ninth and Jackson.
That's
Jackson, Jackson, yeah.
So I would suggest we table this until we find out exactly what it's for.
We haven't done any work on Ivanhoe, that I recall lately. That got paved years ago, if I remember.
Yeah.
This is dated June 29, 2017.
Was it east of, between 6th and 7th on Ivanhoe, or was it 6th?
We
I don't
did
know,
do-
it needs a better description.
Yeah, we did do that.
Yeah, but that was paid a long
That's
time
not,
ago.
that's not Ivanhoe and 8th, no.
Yeah.
And it went on down to Boundary.
Yeah, I would table this for further review.
We'll table it.
Motion to table.
Second.
Roll call, Dixie. Don't get lost in the
Colburn.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Stroller.
Yes.
Yes.
Stephen Frank signed off on it on 11/27. That's the MKEC guy.
Item 18, any new business? Item 19,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
roll call, Dixie.
Colburn.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Hicks. Seabolt. Yes. Stroller.
Yes.
Johnson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Earl.
No, thank you.